Well, first of all, hi, I'm Jodie, Jodie Johnson. I am the District Tech Integration Specialist for Princeton Public Schools. I have been in that role, this will be my 5th year starting this fall. Prior to that, I was a intermediate school teacher. So I taught 3rd grade, I taught 5th grade, I taught 4th and 5th grade. And when I was in that role, I was also a tech coach in 3rd grade, and then that led to me becoming a tech integration specialist. So I'm very Googly. I love Google. I am a level 2 certified educator for Google, and then I'm also applied digital skills trainer, which just means that I have trained the course one time already, and I'm training it again. So the applied digital skills, it really, and I was sharing this already, at its core is an opportunity for students to use all of Google's tools. So whether that's Google Docs, Google Slides, Google Sheets, but in a real world way. So instead of just, okay, I'm going to teach you how to use a Google Sheet and how to use formulas and things like that, it's an applied way that would make sense in their real world. So I'm going to walk through our presentation here, and then we'll be able to dig in a little bit. So for example, planning a dream vacation, which wouldn't we all love to be able to plan a dream vacation? So in the module where they plan a dream vacation, students learn how to use Google spreadsheets. Planning a blockbuster hit, I've actually had a couple of coworkers use this one with their students in middle school and in upper elementary. Through this module, the students learn how to do graphic design and document formatting. So this is really important because obviously learning how to format a document, that is a skill that students need for a long time. And at the same time, they're learning how to, they learn the actual mechanics and the math and science and just logistics of how do you plan a blockbuster hit? Like, how does that actually work? So it's pretty interesting module or course. Or writing an essay, but using student written program code. I haven't done this one yet, but I have heard that this one is really interesting, that students are learning how to edit, and then coding we know is just such an important part of everything that we're doing. There's so many coding careers that are going to be out there for our students. These skills are the information that's going to come up here is really important based on, I think, what you saw yesterday with your business partners. So just a quick overview of what we're going to do. We're going to talk about what applied digital skills is. We're going to peek inside the curriculum and then hopefully give you a little bit of time to actually explore it yourself. I did set up a class for us so that you can explore as students yourself what it looks like. I know for me, being able to see something as a student and then as a teacher helps me to understand what my students will be experiencing and if it's the right fit for them. Applied Digital Skills also has modules specifically for adult learners. So I've put a little bit of everything in there to really make this an experience that should help you really understand it. So what is it? It's a curriculum designed to equip students with the practical skills to help them succeed at school, in the workplace, and life, while promoting that student engagement. So this is something that as we go into the fall, I'm really hoping to promote more in our district, just whether we are in school or distance learning, because these are self-paced lessons, that the teacher is able to watch student progress the entire time students are in the modules, that this would be a great thing for our students to be working on, especially everything we learned from our business leaders yesterday, that these are job market skills that our students need. So wouldn't this be a great activity for them to do, because they can do it during distance learning, or you could do it while you're in the classroom. So at Google, they believe that all students should have an opportunity to meaningfully engage with technical skills for the future, because learners today need those basic digital literacy skills to be successful in any career. So it doesn't matter what career kids are going into, we know that digital learning skills are going to be critical for all of those. These are really based on the 4 C's, which we hear about a lot: communication, collaboration, creativity, and critical thinking. It's increasingly important to be able to exercise these skills in a digital environment. So I know I talked about this if you were in the cyber cafe this morning a little bit, that the idea of communication and collaboration keeps coming up every year from our business partners, that is what our students need. They need to know how to collaborate together, and they need to know how to communicate, because that is, regardless of the career they go into, that's what they need to know. So here's some math, some statistics here of how the job market is changing. So 44%, that's the percentage of 18 to 25-year-olds who believe their education gives them the skills they need to enter the workforce. So only 44% that we're sending them out not really prepared. 1/3 proportion of jobs in 2020 that will require skills that aren't commonly taught today. So we know that we're not necessarily teaching the actual applicable or applied skills that the kids need when they're going out. So I think this speaks a lot to more of those project-based skills, those real world skills that our students need to go out into the world. 12% is the youth unemployment rate, which is at a 7-year high.
Is that pre-COVID?
Yes, so my presentation here is from December. So yes, this is pre-COVID. That would be really interesting to look at those numbers now. Oh my goodness, I wonder what, the thought that just popped in my head too is we had a lot of students who they ended up working because their parents couldn't. So yeah, that would be really interesting to know what those numbers are right now. 49% percentage of today's job openings that require a high school degree, but not a 4-year college degree. So really there is a lot to be said for that. It's kind of the challenge, but the opportunity. It's a chance for us to help equip students with those practical skills to prepare them for life outside of the classroom. Part of this means understanding that roughly half of the job openings in the United States today require at least a high school diploma, but not necessarily a 4-year degree. These jobs include those that are part of a growing middle school or middle skill category that require the demonstration of digital skills. For me, that hits home because I feel very responsible as the tech integration specialist that we are putting devices in the hands of all of our students. We are 1-to-1 and 312 in our district. And so I feel very responsible that we not only are using those responsibly, but that we are teaching them how to use them responsibly, whether that's how are you teaching online, how are you communicating online, how are you creating, not just consuming, but how are you creating? So that speaks a lot to, if we're gonna, those kids now that have been with us since 3rd grade and having that 1-to-1 device, by the time they leave, if they're not going on to a 4-year or a technical college or anything like that, they should definitely be well equipped with the digital skills to go out into the workforce. That we should be able to absolutely say that. 150%, the growth rate of digital-based middle skilled jobs compared to other kinds of jobs. So it's important for them to have those skills. And more than 50%, the expected percentage of jobs in 2020 that require that engineering mindset.
Can you speak to what that mindset is?
So that mindset, to me, when I think of that, is really that idea that students need to be able to figure it out, to work through the problem. I know I talked about this yesterday. I don't know if it was in my Candy group or in my Flipgrid group, but when Target came to talk to us two or 3 years ago at the workforce panel, they talked about the group that works with the app. And I guess every 2 weeks, if you have an app in the App Store, there's an update. And they talked about how that means for them at Target, everyone who's on the team for the app is constantly failing. Like they're updating, failing. And they said that is where kids are succeeding. And I shouldn't say kids, but I mean, everyone younger is a kid, right? Yeah. But the students that are coming to them out of college or out of trade school or wherever, that are coming into Target to work for them in this realm, in this app world, and have to work through those app updates, they said they rock at that. They are so good at being able to engineer and come up and, oh, that didn't work, let's try this, and get through that engineering process, because that's what it is, that design process of let's try it, test it, fail, try again, test it, it worked, great, improve. Where they don't succeed is the communication. So when I have to go tell you that the way you did that didn't work for me, that's where they were starting to fail a little bit. So that's where that engineering mindset really comes from. And so that just hit me so much when I heard that from Target, one, because I'm a Target girl, but two, that I keep hearing that from other companies, that students really are good at that now. They're good at that willingness to keep trying and working, and they get the design process, and yes, I have to fail to learn, but the communication piece isn't there. So being able to keep providing them with opportunities to go through the design cycle over and over again.
My business partner is from Target, and he used the words communication and collaboration.
Yeah.
But that engineering mindset kept coming up, and I just wanted to see where you were coming from in this 50% to make sure I understood as much about it as I could.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
So in their response to all of this, Google came up with the Applied Digital Skills. So this is free. It's video based. It's an online curriculum that has students of all ages going through the basic digital skills. This has blown up. Every time I log in, I feel like there's 10 more modules that are available, and I usually can't find my favorite ones anymore because they're buried in there. But this has become just a great avenue for teachers to be able to find those applicable skills for their students to really learn how to use different Google things. I've also, as a tech integrationist, have used the Applied Digital Skills when I have a teacher who is very uncomfortable with, I don't know how to use Google Docs, I'm not familiar with it. Great, take this Applied Digital Skills course and learn how to create a budget, because we all need to create a budget, or plan an event. Plan an event is one of them. Who doesn't have a kid's graduation party coming up? And then in the same time, you're going to learn how to use these tools in real time and in applicable, not just going through a boring class, which has been fantastic. So these are some of the digital skills and some of the practical life skills that are included with the Applied Digital Skills curriculum. So coding, spreadsheets, data visualization, graphic design, websites, document formatting, internet searching, and file organization. And then even more important, I think, are those life skills. So 4 C's. Yep. The 4 C's, the budgeting, the event planning, the researching, the group decision making, resume writing. There have been some recent releases into the program of like summer connections for students. So how do we connect over the summer? How do we start planning for college? Which actually, to me, I want to really dig into those, because as a Minnesota district, you have to provide a curriculum that helps students prepare for school, for college, or prepare for after school. You have to build a portfolio, and I don't know the exact statute, so I don't want to speak to it exactly, but we pay for a program to do that. There's a program in here that is free that helps students plan out, what is your next step? What are you interested in? What do you want to do? And it teaches them how to use Google's tools at the same time. To me, that seems kind of like a no-brainer when we're having to cut everything from our budget. Why wouldn't we use the free stuff? It is aligned with state standards, and it is aligned with ISTE standards.
Jodie, can I ask a question?
Yes, please.
The last slide about, you know, what they need to know as far as their portfolio stuff. How well does this integrate with Canvas?
So I'm not super familiar with Canvas. However, this fully integrates with Google Classroom, and my understanding is Google Classroom fully integrates with Canvas.
Okay.
So yeah. I would say 100%.
Because we moved at the changeover. They could do either or last quarter, but everybody's going to be Canvas next year. So yeah,
I would say you would be fine, because it's really module, like digital modules, and so it would just be putting the content in there. And if you can put your Google Classroom into Canvas, which I know you can, I do know that for sure, it would just be putting this into your Google Classroom.
How about grading? Can you do grading in this?
Yes, you can. And
Okay.
what's really cool is when the students are in there, you can see exactly where they are, where they're progressing, and then you can grade it right through Google Classroom as well, or through on here.
Okay.
Yep.
Thanks.
You bet. So we talked about this a little bit already, the 4 C's. This does give that ability for students to do collaboration. So students can definitely work on any of these independently, but they can work in groups. So we talked about earlier why it's so important for students to work in pairs, work in groups, because we know that's a work-life skill that they need to have. And this could be something, because of how this program is set up, absolutely done in the classroom or out of the classroom. Free, flexible, easy to use. There's a lesson plan that comes with it. So for the teacher, it's completely planned out for you. The lessons include teacher resources. There's a rubric for grading for you. And then it's video-based and self-directed. And one thing that this seems really small, but to me it helps. In the video-based lessons, there's a transcript below. So if you don't want to actually listen to the video, if maybe you're trying to multitask and do your training while you're supposed to be in a meeting or something, you can actually just read the transcript. I would never do that. I would never, ever do that. But if you're not one who wants to read it or watch it, you can just read the transcript too, which to me is really helpful. Actually, as I went through my Google certification, I did that a lot because I didn't need to watch the whole video, but I needed to read that one part about, oh yeah, this is how I go in and do this, or we're talking about this here. Also, reading the transcript sometimes tells me I don't need to watch that video. I already know how to do this, or it's just the introduction. I'm ready to move on.
I have actually had students tell me that they would rather read it and learn
Yes.
it than watch a video.
Yep, and it's that giving them the choice to do it. So there's no punishment, or it doesn't say you can't move forward. If they're ready, plus they can always go back. I need to go watch that video again. So as a teacher, well, I didn't get that. Did you watch the video again? Did you read the transcript? Can it's all right there, but it's there in multiple formats that makes it accessible to all learners. So we're gonna just watch this quick video. I'm gonna make sure I have this. There we go.
The role of schools has changed drastically because of the use of technology. It's no longer sufficient to be just a textbook and paper classroom.
Applied digital skills is like a website that you go on and it'll give you a task and work you through it using videos. At the end of the video, it's going to have like a list. Step 1, do this. Step 2, do that. So you're going to do it yourself.
Employers are looking for students that have the collaboration skills that a lot of them are not coming out of high school with. This program feeds right into that need.
I'm not your right type like
Very seldom do you have a project that engages all of your students all the time. And the applied digital skills seems to do that.
We do mostly fun activities, like I say, dream vacation, Paris, the city of love. I really want to go there.
The video material gives me more freedom to interact one-on-one with my kids. To have that kind of relationship with them is what makes my classroom one of their favorite classes.
We can be ourselves and have fun, you know? That's why
It's teaching so many of the skills that our kids need once they leave high school or even start jobs in high school. From the critical thinking to the collaboration to organization skills, all those things are wrapped into this program. And to be able to utilize that across the board at all schools, I think would be invaluable.
All right. So we're going to look at just a couple ways that teachers use the curriculum right now. So we're going to look at a couple of the lessons. This is my favorite one. This is actually how I got introduced to applied digital skills. It's the if-then adventure stories. And I have to say that I wish we had more time because I usually do this one with my adult learners and it's always hilarious. It's creating an if-then adventure story in Google Slides where you, if you've ever done the if-then where you're reading and then you have to go to somewhere else in the story, But in Google Slides, you click to go somewhere else in the story. So you might click and say, okay, if you choose Drive, what's going to happen? It definitely has happened more, I think, with my colleagues in my district who maybe I know better, but people have come up with some pretty hilarious stories about what comes up. But this is a great one to do with students. It's a great way to break the ice with students, also a way to show their creativity. It's so much fun, and what a great skill, because they learn how to embed links in Google Slides, how to get a Google slide to pop all the way over. So it's really, yeah, Angela, Choose Your Own Adventure. I was trying to think, what are the names of those books? I have some of these I have kept that are just hilarious from some of our coworkers that they have created. So this is a fun activity. And again, it walks them through. I've had some, when I pull this up, they're like, I'm not going to be able to do that. Sure, you can. You can write a story. And it starts from the basics of storyboarding all the way to, you're going to manipulate a Google slideshow to be able to jump all the way around and tell this story however you want to do it. However different ways you want people to solve this story. So that's a great one. So this one, they learn how to use docs and hyperlinks and slides to tell a story. Planning an event. This one is used a lot in government classes. So they choose, plan, and organize an event like a yard sale, but I think mostly I've seen people use this for events in school. So maybe they're planning prom or homecoming or any special event in the school. So they select and research the event. They plan the tasks and due dates in a spreadsheet. They communicate the information with email and calendar. So for our district, we're Google School, so they have access to our Google accounts. They can use their Gmail account to email whoever they need to. They create a logo and a flyer, and then they exercise their creative muscle and share their event digitally through a website they create and design. So this one, they're learning multiple steps. So you can see this is a much longer lesson, but they are learning so many important skills in this one. Great for student council, any leadership group, digital publishing, document formatting, spreadsheet skills. This is the one I was talking about that could replace some of the things that we're paying for to help students plan for the future. Research and organize information about colleges in Google Sheets. Now for me, I would say about the future, because I think not all of our kids are going to go to college. They might go, they might have a career path right after school. They might have a 2-year plan, a 4-year plan. There's those 3 big options, but organizing information about their future is important. There's so many things to consider, and who do you talk to and who do you get information from? This helps them organize, compare, and sort that data. I know plenty of adults who would love to know how to use this, how to use a spreadsheet appropriately or effectively like this. So to be able to take a course like this and know how to do that would be so helpful. So we're going to learn how to set up a class and begin teaching, kind of how to explore the curriculum. So it's actually pretty easy. We're going to, first I'm going to show you how to explore as a student, because I set up several, like I told you, I set up several classes for you so that you can explore them as a student. So if you go to, I'm going to go to the next page here. Here we go. So if you go to g.co/applied digital skills, and I'm going to put it here in the chat. And then on my next slide here, I'm going to give you the code. Oops, that's not what I wanted. Come on. Sorry, it's logging me in as a teacher. I want to get you to the right spot here. Okay, so if you go to this link, and some of you might already have the presentation up too, so you might already have it. But when you go here, if you would actually click on I'm a student, and then we can log in and you can view some of the modules that I've put in there as a student so you can explore a little bit, and then I can show you from the teacher side what these modules look like. And then when it asks you for a code, this is our code for this class.
A quick question. If I'm, my school email is my Google email.
Yeah.
If I go in as a student today, can I change that?
Yes, you can. Yep. And I'll actually show you that before we leave. I'll show you how to switch it back.
Okay, thanks.
Yep. All right, I think the next screen is the same thing. So just join a class and then there's our class code.
Jodie, did you just get married?
Divorced.
Oh. It had a different name on there. That's why I asked.
Yep. That's why I'm moving.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ever changing. Sorry, didn't mean to make you laugh while you're drinking.
Nope, it's all good. It's been the most interesting 2020. Yeah, like nothing like throwing all the balls in the air, making it super crazy.
And
all right, so I put the code in our chat. I'm going to actually get in here as a teacher.
okay.
So I can show you just from that side what it looks like. Yeah, it's really weird because I made them change my email right away. I was really excited to go back to my maiden name. And so some of the things flipped over in Google and some didn't. And yeah, it's been very weird.
So you took Johnson back on purpose. Do you know how many Ann Johnsons there are?
No, do you know how? Well, and honestly, I was really excited to not have a Johnson last name because it is so common.
There's a Jodie Johnson that lives right across the street from me.
Yeah, it's a very common name. I'm a 70s baby, so yeah, there's a lot of Jodies. So if I go here, this is what it looks like as a teacher. So you can see I've got a couple courses set up when I've taught this. This is the class we're in right now. So if I click here, I can see that I have 3 students signed in. And then this is where I can see their progress summary. So this is how I can view them the whole time that they are in the course and where they're working. So I'm going to just click on this progress details. And like I was saying, as they continue to click on different parts of the module, I will see that right here. So this is really helpful, especially if you, well, I mean, it's just really helpful as they're working through the progress. Normally when I do this workshop, I do it for 90 minutes or 2 hours. And so it's great to have this up on the screen because we can see the different progress of the groups and see where they're at, you know, because even right in here, you can see, okay, they're at 1 out of 2 steps. This person's at 4 out of 5 steps. So you can really view the progress where they're at.
The Google G Suite is a set of
Sorry.
Is what?
I just hit play and it started to
Oh,
play.
okay.
I'm not muted, so.
Yeah, so I'm going to go in here to the If Then Adventure story. So if I click on here, so I see most of you are in that one. So what's really nice too is you can sign in as a student, but as a teacher, so you can see first, so either way, like I could still go into it as a student and kind of see what it's like. But right here, I can see all the activities my students are going to do. So they're going to do an introduction, There's going to be some brainstorming. They're going to create, and then a wrap up. So this is helpful for me, obviously, as a teacher, just to see the, you know, what they're going to be working through, what skills, what tools. Over here, there's the teaching materials. So the lesson plan, the rubric, and then this is new. They have certificates of completion for the students that you can send them. And then you can actually, I think, fill those out if I remember correctly.
Throughout this course, you'll take reflect.
He gets excited when he's teaching. Yeah. All right. So if I go back to our if then adventure story. Oh gosh, my classes. Here we go. All right. So I'm going to view my lesson. So I'm going to actually click start here. And so you can click on the video and it will, there's a video all along where he walks you through, but then down here is the transcript. So you can just read the transcript of exactly what he's going to say. So if you think, okay, I can skip through that. And then click next, and then this is exactly what students can do. Now there's surveys throughout to kind of see where their learning is, and this is really helpful for the teacher because you get this as they're working along. So if you're working, you know, synchronously, they're in the room, you can go around and talk with them, or even, you know, obviously if you're not together, you can reach out to them and see. So this is really helpful right off the bat, because as soon as they fill this in on that screen where you have the student progression, you have access to this information. So after they fill this out, how you feel about the activities, all that information, they can click forward, and then it gives them the introduction. And so it really just walks them through exactly what to do, how to start it. The only issues I've seen is when they try to go too fast because they think they know how to do it. And then if I say, okay, slow down and go back to what the directions were, that seems to help tremendously.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which never happens, right? I mean,
Right.
so one thing I want to show you, just because it's already almost 10:50, my goodness, is if you click on, so I think your screen here says student.
Yeah.
If you click there and go to my profile,
Okay.
you should be able to switch back to teacher. So if you click here, so if I were to click here, I could switch to student, and you should be able to switch to teacher. And then you guys can set up your classes. I just want to make sure you guys know how to, I know, Anne, right? Playback speed, you can make them talk really fast.
So I was going to ask, do you ever have to tell them to go back and watch the video again more slowly?
Yes, yes, yes. Go back through, and honestly, because I work with adult learners more often, it's okay, but did you actually like go through the steps just like you would with your students, instead of you thought you knew how to do it? And that's been, you know, a gentle learning experience of teaching them how to please go through all the directions, and then it'll actually work. And it's like mind-blowing, like, oh yeah, he did tell us to do it that way.
Jodie, do I have a question? Now we're in the one with, you know, the adventure or any of them, and you talk about students, you talk about staff. Are all of them written the same way? Are there some designed for junior high, some designed for high schoolers?
There are. So I'm going to click up here on lessons. So all of these I would say are 6th grade and up. So we have, well, they have like late elementary. So when you click on lessons, you can search by late elementary, middle school, high school, or adult learners. So there's kind of a wide variety there. And it's really just kind of the difficulty of the task. And they, like I said, they've been adding a ton more. It used to be a pretty limited, I would say maybe 20 lessons, and now I don't even know how many are in here. But you can also, you can search by the audience. You can also search by the tool. So if you know, I need to teach my students how to use Gmail or how to use Hangouts, you can search by that, and anything that has Hangouts in it will pop up. And then, so let's say that's the one I want, I click on it, and I can either start it to take it myself, or I can add to class. All of my classes are going to pop up, and I just click what class I want to assign that to. And I can go back to curriculum or view that class. And then same with topics. If you have a specific topic that you want, you know, study skills and organization, which would be a great one to start off the year. Like, how do we get ourselves organized, ready for the year?
Jodie, does this export to Schoology?
Schoology is the same, where Schoology allows Google to be completely embedded. So Google Classroom, so you would be able to embed this right into Schoology.
Sweet.
Yes.
Yeah,
Schoology and Google are friends.
I like that.
Yes. So if you haven't, if you need, I have this presentation also linked in the resources, so make sure you grab it, just because there's also more information. It has the reminder of how to go between student and teacher, some reflection questions, which we're probably not going to have time for, but it just has a lot of resources, and it has an appendix of units, but this unit, the amount of units they have has grown exponentially in the last 2 months. So just know that there's a lot more, but I want to make sure you have this slide deck just for your own resources. So that's all I have. We have a couple minutes before we have to jump over to Candy Group. So if you have any questions, feel free. I'll hang out. But thank you so much for coming and learning, and I hope you're having a great day.
Jodie, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thanks. Yeah, this was
Alright.
worked exactly what I could do and change, and it kind of rewrites my entire class.
Yeah, no big deal. I mean, you've got a month, right?
I had
Not
4
until
days
we
last time.
know.
Oh, well, I'm glad it was helpful, Jamie.
Thanks.
Jodie, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So I overheard that you have your Google Level 1 Educator certification. Is that right?
Level 2, actually. Yeah.
Okay, because I just did the Level 1, so I'm waiting to hear back if I get it or not. But
Yep.
what does the Level 2 consist of?
So level 2 is just a little more intense. It's, I'm trying to remember. I took it last summer. It's very similar to level 1, honestly. It's
Okay.
there. I want to say there was more spreadsheet stuff that
Okay.
you had to do, and more collaboration things, like being able to connect it, you know, like how do you have like these students work together, things like that. It really wasn't all that hard. There's a lot of free, honestly, I was so frustrated with myself that I took so long to take it. I just took it to see
Really?
if I could pass it.
Sure.
And then I was like, well, if I don't, then I'll take a class to try to pass it.
Yeah.
And I did. There was one part of it though, I know I didn't, because I either timed out on me or I did something wrong, but I must have gotten the rest of it correct. So
Okay.
yeah. So if you're really familiar with Google, or if you're a G Suite school and you use it, I would recommend just trying it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Congratulations on getting your level 1. That's awesome.
Yeah, well, I don't know if I got it yet, but I took the test, but I'm assuming that I did. But
Yeah, that's
just
awesome.
I hadn't heard of this, the applied skills, and just like looking through it, I'm like, hey, that's just like the test. That's pretty much what it's like. So
It's very similar. Yep, definitely.
So when you become a Google Level 1 person or Level 2, what does it help you with, or what does it do, or
It really, so for us, we've actually made it a requirement for our tech coaches just to have that that knowledge. And so it gives you a badge, You have a badge and you can renew it. I think it's every 3 years. Every 2 or 3 years you have to renew it. So it's just a recognition from Google that you're one of their certified educators. You can, after you get your level 2, you can apply to become a trainer for Google, which is a little more of an intense process that you have to get approved for. And that's one of my goals. It's just not there yet. Doing grad school and, selling a house and all that. It was going to be this summer's project, but it's not going to happen now. So,
Ever changing.
ever changing.
Are you all packed?
What's that?
Are you all packed to move already?
I'm getting there. We've been doing a lot of things. My sister's been coming up every weekend and we have just been attacking this house with like paint. We redid the carpeting downstairs. We did a bunch of stuff outside. It's been intense. So tonight I'm going to Maple Grove and Elk River to go look at homes. So
Oh, okay.
I'm hoping I find something and then I can put an offer down.
Where are you teaching?
I teach in Princeton.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is Princeton and Isanti combined?
No, they're about 40 minutes away, I think. 30.
It's Cambridge Isanti. That's
Cambridge, Isanti. Yep.
Thank you. I was thinking.
Are you part of Elk River then, right? Or Princeton separate?
Princeton separate.
Okay.
Yep, but right outside of Elk River. So it's when you're kind of going up 169 there, it's Rogers, Elk River, Zimmerman, Princeton.
Are you in the high school or are you all buildings?
I'm all district. So I was in elementary, and then when I got my position is actually pre-K-12.
Okay.
So that's not exhausting at all.
I couldn't remember. There's a couple teachers that up there, but.
You're funny.
District. Yeah. Go like online, and then we have one tech integration specialist for the entire district. So yeah.
Busy girl.
We don't even have one of the. We don't have a tech integration specialist.
I'm so grateful that they've always been big on that role, like as an out of classroom role. We actually this spring they rewrote because they've written my contract into staff development funding the last 2 years because that's the majority of my job is staff development. We have ATPPS or QComp, and we've had a high balance in that for a while. They, as the teachers, agreed to actually take part of my salary for the next 3 years out of that. So I know like maybe not me, but my position as a whole is like valued for at least the next 3 years. So
our media specialist kind of did all the tech support, and she's become that, but she's still under as a media specialist because she was science and then did all the tech support and repair, and then we have tech teams with kids.
Yeah.
Help with some of the tech support, but
it's crazy. I have a tech team of teachers who teach full time, but then they get paid to be tech coaches. So
we don't have tech coaches. And usually what happens in some of our PLC groups and different things get involved. So
yeah.
Well,
awesome, Jamie. I hope you have a great rest of your day.
You too. Thank you so much for your help.
Thank you. Take care.